So today we will study about an exception class called as runtime exception. So let us look into the class hierarchy. So this is the class hierarchy: java.lang.object, java.lang.throwable, java.lang.exception, java.lang.runtime exception. And this runtime exception has got some of the subclasses. So these are all the subclasses of runtime exception: null pointer exception, arithmetic exception, number format exception, input mismatch exception, index out of bounds exception. And in this there are two types. So first one is array index out of bounds exception, second one string index out of bounds exception. Please note that all these are the subclasses of runtime exception. So runtime exception and its subclasses are all unchecked exception. So let us see what is meant by unchecked exception. So exceptions are classified as two types, that is checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. This runtime belongs to a class called as unchecked exceptions. So the statement which is likely to result in a runtime exception need not be enclosed within the try catch block. So this is what is meant by unchecked exception. So when we go through the examples, this concept will be clear. Next, runtime exceptions are not checked during the compile time, but they are checked only during the runtime. So that is why they are called as unchecked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions means it is not checked during compilation, but definitely it is checked during the runtime. So next, let's see what is meant by checked exceptions. So these are all checked during the compile time itself. So IO exception, SQL exception, and class not found exception, these are some of the examples of the checked exceptions. Next, examples of runtime exceptions. We will look into some of the examples which will clarify this concept. The first one is null pointer exception, second one is arithmetic exception, number format exception, input mismatch exception, array index out of bounds exception, string index out of bound exception. So we will take up one example with all these exceptions, and then we will see the exact meaning of these runtime exceptions. That will be very clear. Thank you.